I am a woman.
I am a woman.
I am a woman born of a woman whose man owned a factory.
I am a woman born of a woman whose man labored in a factory.
I am a woman whose man wore silk suits, who constantly watched his weight.
I am a woman whose man wore tattered clothing, whose heart was constantly strangled by hunger.
I am a woman who watched two babies grow into beautiful children.
I am a woman who watched two babies die because there was no milk.
I am a woman who watched twins grow into popular college students with summers abroad.
I am a woman who watched 3 children grow, but with bellies stretched from no food.
But then there was a man.
But then there was a man,
And he talked about peasants getting richer by my family getting poorer.
and he told me of days that would be better, and he made the days better.
We had to eat rice
We had rice
and beans.
and beans.
My children were no longer given summer visas to Europe,
My children no longer cried themselves to sleep,
and I felt like a peasant.
and I felt like a woman.
A peasant with a dull, hard, unexciting life.
Like a woman that sometimes allowed a song.
And I saw a man,
And I saw a man.
and together we began to plot with the hope of the return to freedom.
I saw his heart begin to beat with the hope of freedom, at last.
Someday, the return to freedom.
Someday, freedom.
And then,
But then,
one day,
one day,
there were planes overhead and guns firing close by.
there were planes overhead and guns firing in the distance.
I gathered my children and went home,
I gathered my children and ran.
and the guns moved farther and farther away.
But the guns moved closer and closer.
And then they announced that freedom had been restored.
And then they came. Young boys, really.
They came into my house along with my man,
They came and found my man.
those men whose money was almost gone,
They found all of the men whose lives were almost their own,
and we all had drinks to celebrate.
and they shot them all.
The most wonderful martinis,
They shot my man,
and they asked us to dance.
and they came for me.
Me,
For me, the woman.
and my sisters.
For my sister.
And they took us.
Then they took us.
They took us to dinner at a small private club,
They stripped from us the dignity we had gained,
and they treated us to beef.
and then they raped us.
It was one course after another.
One after another they came after us,
We nearly burst, we were so full.
lunging, plunging, sisters bleeding, sisters dying.
It was magnificent to be free again.
It was hardly a relief to have survived.
The beans have almost disappeared now.
The beans have disappeared.
The rice, I've replaced it with chicken or steak.
The rice, I cannot find it.
And the parties continue night after night to make up for the time wasted.
And my silent tears are joined once more by the midnight cries of my children.
And I feel like a woman again.
They say I am a woman.